All right, it's a different day because I was busy, ended up being busy at that time of the last recording. So I'm going to read this article and then let you know what I think. Issue 180, all the news that's fit to screen print. Issue 180, words, Jonas Piccari, design NMTD, 2023. Okay. I'm just going to read this first line on camera because it's pretty fire. The skater boy aesthetic has always been a sure shortcut to swag. That's actually true. No matter what the context, they seemed untouchable, feared, and respected by jocks, gangster wannabes, and outcasts alike. The skaters. True. And how their style seeped into kind of the mainstream, even though most people don't know how to skateboard. Skateboarding is actually really tough. As for myself, I suck at, well, I can ride a skateboard, but I'm just now at 30 learning how to ollie and ollie while moving. I'm still trying to kickflip. Ever since the day in sometime in junior high, I was riding a skateboard home from the park. Because again, I can ride skateboards. I can ride longboards. It's because I'm a snowboarder, right? Anyways, I was riding a skateboard home from the park, and some kids drove by, like some teenagers older than me, and they were like, do a kickflip. And I was like, I can't. I just kept fucking skating home. And ever since that day, I was like, I gotta prove them wrong one day. Gotta learn that kickflip. Hasn't happened yet. It will, though. But I was a BMXer, and I snowboard. I still snowboard. So I think that was kind of my... And I've been doing snowboarding since grade 7. Actually a bit earlier. And BMXing since high school. So that was kind of my in to not be a poser for skate culture. At the end of the day, I wasn't really wearing BMX brands, but I was wearing snowboarding brands. But Vans, Vans are Vans. Vans are sick. And so is a shirt. All right, now for the second shirt, issue 179. Words from Jonas Piccari once again, or Piccari. Design Peter Lundgren, 2022, this one. Cool. This one is called Today's Weather. So the first thing of the article here is extreme heat waves have turned some of the most popular tourist regions in France, Spain, Italy, and Portugal into blazing infernos ravaged by wildfires and drought. This is a very interesting article. In a lot of ways, but definitely as a Canadian and Edmontonian. One thing that it talks about in this section is about how it sounds like it's written from the perspective of a Swede, talking about Swedish people. But I, as a Canadian and Edmontonian, experience a lot of these things, whereas people love to have small talk about the weather here because the weather can vary so much, while casually steering clear of the issue of climate change, as this may lead to interaction into a real discussion. Very, very relatable here. And it says that, like, Swedes have their summer holiday especially crucial. Same with us. They have a joke here, an old saying, Swedish summer is the best day of the year. People act like that over here as well, for sure. I genuinely love the winter, but our summers are beautiful and nice and perfect, but they're short-lived. Winter is 5 months, it seems like, and summer is like 2 to 3. 2,500 recorded wildfires since the start of May. I'm guessing 2022. Have been spreading through Greece, Portugal, Turkey, Spain, Italy, France, Albania, and the UK. We, in Edmonton, in Alberta, have been experiencing crazy amounts of wildfires. People losing their homes, people dying, big damage to forest areas. Obviously, contribution to climate change from all the burning trees and CO2 and stuff. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. This article talks about Sweden getting like record heat waves every summer, and regardless of what action we start to take today, it's predicted to continue this way until 2060. Like, regardless of how many mitigations towards climate change that we start to implement, we're experiencing that here. So it's pretty interesting that on the other side of the world, but similar, like, latitude, longitude, I suppose, I'm guessing, to Sweden, we experience that as well. Climate changes may actually be turning the northern Swedish coastal area into the next Mallorca. I don't know where Mallorca is, but it says the only problem in this scenario, other than huge parts of the world becoming unlivable and eventually turning millions into desperate climate refugees, is the Swedes' inability to chit-chat about anything other than weather. That makes me wonder, is Edmonton or Canada going to be a place where people that are desperately become a place where climate refugees 10, 20, 30 years in the future from now are gonna start to come to, because, well, our winters won't be as harsh. So far, I don't think they are. Like, the last couple of years, they've felt like a bit warmer. And yeah, part of you is like, oh man, nice, it's much easier to tolerate. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that's bad, fuck. Like, it's supposed to be hard to live up here, for sure, especially, well, in the wintertime. But it makes me wonder, it's like, with adversity, I always try to think about the good that comes with it, right? I try to be an optimist at all times. But this feels like a weird thing to be an optimist about. I don't want to focus on nice effects that come with it. Like, oh, Edmonton is a city that's growing relatively young. So, like, if a lot of people come here 10, 20, 30 years from now, it'll keep turning into a bigger, more major city. Tourists will come, a more variety of people will live here, and the city will grow. But the catalyst for that is climate change and, like, heat waves that are, like, fatal, and especially in other areas of the world. Sucks ass. I ain't with it. And then you say, yeah, well, what about cold waves? What about frost waves, whatever they're called here, that also hurt people, let's say before climate change? Like, how some days it's as cold as Mars. Yeah, that sucks. That does suck. But, climate change, in my opinion, is like a conflict with Mother Earth. Like, I don't think Mother Earth likes it. And I've said this in a song of mine. I think Mother Earth will find a way, will at least try to find a way to eradicate us before we make things too bad. And she may succeed in that, or we may succeed in transforming the landscape and ourselves to be able to live in a weird, bleak, futuristic, somewhat dystopian environment while, like, other animals die and we don't care. We don't care because we don't care about life at that point. And we found some way to, like, not need them for food or something. We just plug ourselves in and charge. Or I don't know. I'm just getting a little too crazy right now. Anyways, cool article. Definitely relate to it quite a bit. And even though, like, I genuinely enjoy every season also has its shitty weather. So